Hi, welcome to Drumming Solo. In this episode, we're once again down in Plymouth catching up with Nick Collins, who's on the road with Mike and the Mechanics. This time it's a bit different from the normal episode. It's a question and answer session. Some questions that have been sent privately on YouTube or Instagram. If you want me to bring more content like this, then please like and subscribe. We hope you enjoy the episode. Nick, thanks for doing this once again.
Of course.
Good to meet up. Welcome back to Plymouth.
Yeah, thank you very much.
This time purely Q&A.
Purely a Q&A.
So random questions that either I've come up with or people have asked me since our last video.
Okay.
So I'll just fire through them.
I'm nervous.
You can improvise as much as you want on the answer. One aspect of your playing you think you'd like to improve on?
I mean, it's one that I've been working on for the last couple of years, and I still feel like that's my main focus, is just getting better on my double kick chops and stuff. I mean, obviously for this tour and this gig, it's not a double kick gig, so usually the drum solo at the end is where I try some stuff, but because of where the tempo is and because it's the last thing that's happening at night, I don't feel like I want to get too far out there. Like, that's more for like the humble practice time, by yourself. But that's something that, I definitely feel like I've gotten better over the last, 2 years or 3 years of really getting into it. But there's still a lot that I have left to go. Yeah. But that's definitely been something that's taken up a lot of my kind of, practice time. Okay, cool. And can we expect more of that on some of your own original my
stuff?
band stuff has got now it's become quite we're not like speed metal by any means, but, there's definitely obviously, a Tool influence, which is, a bit of double kick, influence there. But then we've also been, me as a drummer, I've been really influenced by a lot of progressive metal guys. So trying to incorporate a bit more, syncopated kick and bass stuff is always fun. And that's always become part of, the way we're composing some of our tunes back at home. Okay, cool.
Do you prefer studio or live?
Live, I think that's I definitely prefer a gig, but I do love the studio as well. I think it's very different. The thing is for a studio, when I'm recording, if I'm just doing a session thing, I'm just doing it. When it's, my own projects, then I get very self-destructive in the studio, and I become my own worst critic, and I get, the insecurities come out, and you're just like, it can get very, you can get caught up in a lot of things that may not matter because you're so much in that environment. But when it's done, you love it. You're like, wow, that was so worth it. And creating stuff, that's really what I want to do. Is be in a band and write songs and kind of be a bit of a songwriter, not in the way of a guitar and a lyric book, but more so just composing music with my friends.
Cool. If there's one gig you could relive as a drummer, what would that
I've played in or that I've seen?
That you've played in?
I would either do one, maybe either the last Genesis show that we did at the O2, that just to relive that, and it was a really special night, or one of the South American shows that I did when I was touring with my dad. I'd say Sao Paulo or something.
The first time?
It was on the tour that we did when we, it was probably about a year in or just under a year in, and we went to South America, and it was just some of the best shows and audiences that we had on the whole tour. And so just going back to Brazil, Sao Paulo specifically, I just remember those gigs and just this packed stadium. It was just the greatest energy I'd experienced on stage.
A lot of people say South American shows are I watch all the documentaries and they go, South American audiences are crazy.
Yeah,
and this, that, and the other.
Absolutely.
But yeah, cool. Which current drum seat do you wish you could have? If a band called you up and said, we need you. Is it Tool?
No, because I would say Tool, but nobody can be Danny Carey. No, it just wouldn't be the same. He's such a crucial part of that. Foo Fighters. You know what I mean? That's a fun gig.
It was available a couple of years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I missed my chance.
Should put your name in. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of maybe, 9 Inch Nails, those kinds of bands. Queens of the Stone Age,
That's been mentioned.
Phil?
Yeah. But I saw them, I think Glastonbury a couple of years ago. Is it John Theodore?
Oh, he's amazing.
Absolutely.
He's one of my favorite drummers as well, from his
Smashing it.
Mars Volta stuff as well.
Yeah.
But when I saw them live, he was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, like everybody who are playing those guys, like Elon Rubin with Nine Inch Nails, and then obviously Josh Freese with Foo Fighters, like amazing drummers. So you know what I mean? It's like they would be huge shoes to fill.
It would be. If you could have one signature drum product, what would it be? The Holy China's available now. Chad's gone to.
Yeah, I can just put my name on it.
You're going to take that, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I like a lot of the gear that I use. So, I mean, I think every drummer kind of dreams of either a signature snare drum or a signature ride. Those are like usually the two things that you want.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of happy with what I'm using at the moment. So I think maybe down the line, a signature snare drum would be cool.
Would be cool. One piece of advice your current self would give your younger self when you started drumming.
When I started drumming?
Yeah.
It's hard from when I started drumming, because obviously the journey that the events you go through lead you to who you are today. And but I think maybe practicing a bit more technique when I was really young.
Yeah.
Because that being said,
you just do like play along to songs?
Yeah, I would just play, which honestly I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
And it's made me the drummer that I am now. But I think obviously at that time I probably wouldn't have been interested in like doing all that technique stuff.
Yeah.
But I think now I'm interested enough in it where I think maybe had I had a head start, or actually no, practice double kick. That's what I would have told my 12-year-old self. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Last year you did the UK Drum Show. You've done PASIC. You've done Ash's Christmas Bash. You've done other stuff in Europe. How do you find the sole focus being on you, no one else on the stage? Have you developed a sort of, set, as it were?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit, it's kind of, it's bittersweet, you know what I mean? It's like
more nerve-wracking?
A little bit, because you kind of know that you're playing to a room full of drummers. You almost feel the binoculars come out when you're about to start. Yeah. But it is fun because you meet so many people and you hang out with all these either drummer friends or company friends that you don't get to see. Yeah. So it ends up being a cool hang.
Yeah.
The last, the couple clinics I've done, I obviously know that I've kind of been there, and I'm self-aware enough to know that people who are there are probably coming because they know who my dad is, or they, want to hear Genesis or something. So I've thrown in like one or two, Genesis bits, because that's something I can speak about with my experience touring with those guys. But I think moving forward, it changes from time to time. So the clinics coming up, I'll probably just kind of do my own thing, and I always like to, because I don't come from like a educational theory background. I kind of like to talk about stuff that could be interesting to people based on my experience and based on situations that I've been in. Find that a bit more interesting than just like sitting down and being like, here's how you do this rudiment or something, because there's other people who do that and they do it way better than I would. So I'd rather kind of just do something that I feel I can actually have a unique input on, I guess.
Cool. And finally, regards to this sort of drumming section, the Drumeo documentary with you and your dad, that was amazing. What was it like being the person asking the questions as opposed to being the person answering the questions? I mean, I really enjoyed it. I mean, Brandon and I had a great time putting the project together, and obviously like getting to sit down with my dad for 2 days and just asking about his drumming throughout his whole career was really special, and not something we do. You know, like I never am asking him those kinds of questions because he doesn't really want to talk about it when he's at home. Like it's in small doses, but I wouldn't be like, hey, let's go through your entire 50-year career and go through it. But it was really cool and special to kind of have that, and I enjoyed asking those questions because I felt, as much as it was stuff that I thought people would want to know, it was stuff I wanted to know too. And was it a matter of stuff you'd sort of gathered up over days, weeks, months, thinking, I must remember to ask that? For sure, it was months in the making, and Brandon, we also bounced off ideas off of each other, so he'd bring something in and be like, oh, that's a good one, I never thought about that, and vice versa. Cool. So now we're going to talk about bands and you. What happened with The Effect? Is it something, because that was an unbelievable album. I mean, loved it. No, it was a fun album to be a part of, and I had a good time making it, and they're all really talented guys. It's just sometimes it just isn't meant to be. Bands are hard, and with the distance and with just everybody
doing their own thing
Yeah.
and different aspirations. It's just
No.
one of those that never really kind of, panned out. But it's, I think it's a great record, and I'm proud of my work on it, and I'm proud to have been involved with them.
It was one of my favourite records of last year.
Oh, that's really kind, man. Thank you.
And my wife saw you at the Isle of Wight Festival when you did a set there, and she loved it as well.
Oh, cool.
So
thanks.
So yeah, it was a shame. Better Strangers. It's been 2.5 years since we had some material from you. Can we expect some more stuff?
Yeah, I definitely hope so soon. We're working on finishing an album now, and there's a lot of pieces to figure out and to put in place, but we're really stoked about the material that we've come up with, and it's just a matter of the right place and the right time and the right way to put it out.
Yep.
And I'm hoping definitely soon, and regardless, I'm hoping that once I'm off this tour, we just start playing some shows again.
Cool. If you weren't drumming, what would you be doing?
I would hope to be involved somewhat in football in some way.
Yeah.
Probably not as a player, because I'm not good enough.
We just clarify
Soccer, yeah.
not American football.
Yeah. Unfortunately, to maybe some of the viewers, I'm a massive Manchester United fan, so times are tough.
Still, 2 years on, still hasn't learned.
This is a whole
sticking
other
around.
section. I'm loyal.
Later on, we'll get to the Man United questions, and I will be delighted to get to that part.
But maybe, I don't know. Coaching seems different. Seems difficult, but even a pundit or a commentator, that's always something that it's really my second love is football.
Do you always watch it? Do you watch CBS?
Yeah, I'm always watching everything, and I keep up with it, and I really enjoy it. So that's always something that if drumming didn't work out, maybe
you managed to catch any.
No, we haven't been able to.
No.
We were so close to being able to watch United Arsenal when we were in Manchester, but the kickoff time was too late, so we couldn't make it. So unfortunately, we've just missed out on almost every game where we've been.
What's it like being you right now?
Confusing. No, it's good. Honestly, I'm really grateful. I can't complain at all. I'm here on the road.
Yeah.
I get to play drums every night. Does it get better than that?
Yeah.
Not really. I'm happy. It's just obviously figuring out what's next. That's always tricky, but it figures itself out in the end.
That's always got to look ahead. That sort of 3 or 4 months, and it's difficult. So talking about football, I'm guessing you had a Man United kit when you were younger.
I have almost a kit from every season. I'm a collector of jerseys. Yeah.
Did you have a name? A number on the back?
I started off with Ronaldo on the back, number 7.
It must have been in the charity shop going cheap, yeah?
Honestly, when he joined back, it was like I felt like I was a kid again. I just had this excitement. And it's a shame it didn't end the way it probably should have.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Rooney was one of my childhood favorites. He's probably my favorite all-time United player.
So let's talk about how they're currently doing. As a Liverpool fan, I'm distraught to see the fight for 14th or whatever they're in at the moment.
Honestly, it just gets worse and worse. Every season starts, and I go, "This is the season we're going to turn it around." And somehow I get more and more disappointed. And at this point though, I used to be really annoyed about it and get really emotional about it when I was when we first started kind of becoming bad. Yeah. Because for the first bit of my life,
becoming bad. Can we clip that? When we first started becoming bad.
Yeah, because for the first bit of my life, we were one of the best teams in the world, and then Fergie left, and it's just been but it's the hope that kills you. It's the one trophy. It's the FA Cup where you go, oh, we're back, and
so are you Europa League? You're like.
Well, it has to be that. Yeah. If we don't make Champions League, then
I watched that the other night. That was. Interesting.
God. It's like every time we sign players, I go, wow, what a great signing. And then the next year it goes, we need a whole new squad. Yeah. So I don't really know what it is, what the problem is. It's not the manager. I like the manager, actually.
Yeah.
I like Ruben.
You've got to give him time.
He has to. He's not the problem. We've had too many managers that are all too different that you can't blame that anymore.
You've seen the plans for the new ground with the 3
It may be the nicest stadium in the
circus.
championship in a couple of years.
It'll be. I mean, it looks like a circus, which is fitting for a bunch of clowns.
He was optimistic to put 3-0 on one of the boards. No, I mean, it looks nice. I know it's like probably necessary. I mean, I think it's a little. I don't know. I don't even know the word is, but it's a little weird to kind of announce a stadium when you can't even be a good, competent football team in the first place, and you're already playing at a almost 80,000 seater stadium. But I guess it needs to happen, and it needs to be modernized, and it's cheaper to do it that way than to.
And I think they're planning on putting obviously holding concerts there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you'll be delighted if you get to play a gig there.
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course, that would be amazing. But yeah, it seems a little bit not totally focused on football and maybe other things. So who knows? Okay. I mean,
I won't.
Yeah,
I won't
honestly, like it gets worse and worse.
Leave it at that. Finally, practice pad warm-ups. Mm-hmm. You've got a practice kit out in the back here. What sort of stuff do you do, and how long do you do before a show?
So it depends. For this gig, it's not as much of a like physically and technical demanding gig. So will definitely allocate 30 minutes, and the first 5 to 10 minutes is me warming up just my joints and stuff. So doing a couple band exercises, rotator cuff stuff, and then I get to pad work, and I've got a kick drum pad set up as well.
Okay.
So I'm usually just cycling through rudiments. I started at 120 BPM, and so start singles, single eighths, triplets, single strokes, double strokes, paradiddles, inverted paradiddles, 6-stroke rolls, like Swiss Army triplets, all this different stuff, and a little bit of kick stuff while I'm doing it, and then I up it to 130 BPM and do kind of the same thing again. And sometimes if I get bored, I'll put on some music and play along to some complicated stuff that I feel can like wake up the mind and get the kind of joints separated. So it's a lot of like, weird prog or weird metal stuff that I'll be listening to, which is funny. Then going and playing a mechanics gig, which is more of like a pop rock gig. But then if I'm at home, it's a bit longer. Like if I was playing a gig with my band, because it's a bit more physically demanding, especially with like the kick stuff, I would probably do like 20 to 30 minutes of just warming up the legs and then do some of the pad stuff as well.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean, I try to spice it up and keep it interesting for myself as well, but I'm a creature of habit, and so I know what I like to do and what works, so I try to kind of stick to the same routine.
Cool. That's all I've got for you, mate.
Cool. Thanks very much.
Enjoyed that.
Yeah, thank you.
Good gig tonight, and thanks again for having us.
Thank you, man.
Cheers. Favourite movie?
Interstellar.
Favourite food? Stylising cuisine.
Ooh, yeah, that's so hard. A good Indian curry.
Nice.
I don't know if that's the favourite, but that's what came to mind.
Yeah. Have you had plenty of those over?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Favourite drink?
A beer.
Lager.
Yeah, lager.
Pint of lager.
Yeah.
First album you bought? Because I'm guessing you were CD. You weren't mini disc. You were
that
CD.
I bought. It may not be actually the first one that I bought, but like from having like a vinyl, maybe Blood Sugar Sex Magic by the Chili Peppers.
Nice. The last album you bought or / listened to, because I know obviously.
The last album I listened to, it was a live Snarky Puppy record. Grand Central, I think is the name of the album.
Okay.
Because I saw them live a couple months ago, and so I just listened to it.
Is that Larnell on drums?
Yeah, I love Larnell.
Absolute beast.
Yeah.
Sea view, city view, or countryside view?
Either sea view or city view. I'm lucky enough to live in Miami, so I get both. I get a city view with the sea in the back.
So I didn't know whether the Switzerland thing would give you the whole mountain stroke.
Actually, you're right. Let's go Mountain View.
Okay. There we go.
Mountain View. Actually, you're right.
Dinner party. You've got 3 guests, dead or alive, just to pick their brains. Not necessarily musicians. Absolutely anybody.
Oh man.
People hate this question.
It's not quick fire. It's like. John Bonham.
Yep.
Dave Grohl. I'm just gonna. I feel like I have to stick to music. Actually, no. You know what? Would be really weird. We'd have to have separate conversations. But I'd love to have a drink with Wayne Rooney.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I feel like he seems like a cool hang.
He likes a drink. That's fine. Finally, what is your worst habit?
My worst habit
That you think, I mean, I'm sure other people here will give me other habits. I'm sure
Yeah,
Phil will give me another habit. But what's your worst habit?
My worst habit is like overthinking a lot of things and you know, mishandling my own anxiety.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
because then it just you know, I'll snowball real quick when I should really just chill out a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's it. Thanks. Cheers, buddy.